What's the dilemma? What are we talking about?
So we're gonna cue in with...
Are we talking about the basket or the air tank or the wing?
No, so I'm gonna start off with this. So this is like probably one of the top tier Jeep builds we have going on right now. This is a chassis that we worked with Genright on. It came to us with the suspension already installed, and we are doing a full V8 conversion along with a list of other products from their whole catalog. The engine is actually a Mast Motorsports built 427. This one will turn out about 700 horsepower. This also got the first set of Genright's Elite LS mounts to match their Genright Elite suspension. This engine also sports a factory LS7 dry sump system. The tank's mounted up on the firewall right there. It's a 2.5 gallon Peterson dry sump, and that will house the mostly oil. The pan houses the dry sump system. We also did a custom set of stainless built headers specific to this chassis, and then another custom Ron Davis radiator for this build as well. We also stripped the chassis down and powder coated it. The axles were overhauled by Curry. And we went through the suspension. It got updated aluminum links and a brand new Alkin brake kit. On the inside, we currently went with a brand new Genright cage. This had a factory cage when it came to us. And this is getting Genright's full dash, which the dash is currently out getting leather wrapped right now. Since this customer opted for no power or no heater or air conditioning, we actually flipped the intake on the motor and run the air intake into the cabin. It gets it out of the heat of the engine bay, and it actually keeps the filter a little bit cleaner. Mounted right by the filter is the vacuum assist for the brakes. This motor has a relatively larger cam, so we run a full-time dedicated electric vacuum pump mounted up there by the air filter. And then this also runs Genright steering column kit, which we kind of tied into the factory brake pedal setup so that we can still run the factory booster and master cylinder. That way you keep really good pedal feel and you still have power assisted brakes. We did the Genright B-pillar chop that was just done before this chassis goes out to paint. And then we tied in a Genright seat mount that's in the back. There's a fire extinguisher or a fire suppression system mount over there, and then this rack right here is for an amplifier for a marine audio system. And before I pass it off to Andy so he can explain the brackets we have going on in the back, the suspension in the rear also got updated. We did a 3.0 internal bypass king shock from Genright and updated to their 36-gallon fuel cell over the 25-gallon. That way he's never short on fuel with a thirsty LS motor up front. I want to formally introduce you to Andy Day. He does all the fabrication here. He's responsible for cutting all the brackets and all the metal fab and fitment on the Jeeps that come in and out of here.
So I'll take you through some of the stuff we've done on the back of this Jeep, starting with the Genright basket to haul around all the cargo. We CNC cut all these brackets specifically to fit this cage, to mount this basket in this cage. There's a lot of stuff in the back of this Jeep, so everything has to be tightly packaged very precisely so it all fits with it being powder coated and painted. So we got their basket mounted back here on our custom brackets. We took their cage and we finished off the back of it with this custom chase light bar. Basically ties into the roof that they provide. We use those bolts to attach the wing to the roof that they provide, but we also added our own touch. We took some Baja Design lights and had faceplate laser cut to mount those lights in a line so that they look like they all belong in a row instead of just having them separately mounted. And then closed it all off so it's all sealed up and clean. You won't see any of the wiring and stuff. So we basically take a flat sheet of metal and we press break it into the shape that we want, dimensions that we've come up with that fit the cage best. You can see the bar is made to fit this cage specifically, it's coped around the tubes and everything, and it fits really tight. And then the next thing that we mounted back here, we've got one of these AccuAir CT tanks. This is the newest tank that AccuAir offers. It's got the compressor inside the tank, very quiet, very fast. And same thing, we CAD designed and CNC cut these brackets to mount the tank off the roll cage. So we're kind of utilizing the roll cage to mount all of these accessories in the Jeep, since the roll cage is probably the strongest part. And then we've got an Odyssey battery also mounted in the rear compartment. So all in all, there's a lot going on back here, but this guy's still gonna have plenty of room for his whatever he wants to put back here, his golf bag or whatever he wants to haul around, you know?
Recovery gear, ice chest.
Yeah, all the necessities for being out in the middle of nowhere and having to get yourself out of a bind. This is the kind of stuff that separates these builds from, you know, your everyday, you know, run-of-the-mill builds, is having things like this on board. So basically what this is a Safecraft suppression system, fire suppression system. So this thing will have sensors in it for heat, and in the event of a fire, basically this thing will go off by itself and protect the occupants inside the car from catching on fire, and allow enough time for everybody to get out of the car before, you know, something would happen. So this is the kind of stuff though that to me is kind of it separates the cheap builds from the high-end stuff. You know, everything has been taken into account, and there's no shortage of anything in this build.
So next time you see this 2014 Jeep Wrangler, we'll have the body off. The body will be out for paint, and then get the interior bed lined, since it will be topless 99% of the time. And we'll be plumbing and wiring the frame for final fitment, and we can show you guys what's going on underneath. Until then, we'll see you next time.